Howdy toddy everybody, this is Tommy with Colonel Rev Scale Models coming at you with a final reveal of the Matchbox, or in this case, the AMT, that one, the AMT Porsche 917 10 in 1/32 scale for the small scale group build hosted again this year for the second year by Bryan over at BG's Model Workshop and his buddy Shawn over at the Scale Model Car Guy. So I really like these 32nd scale kits. They're smaller, definitely take up less shelf space than the larger 25th scale. This kit is originally from 74, and then the version I had, which is the AMT right there, it is from 79. The two that you see beside it are two that I picked up on eBay just to try to get some decals, but I really like the kit actually. So I said, you know what, these decals just were not working. Y'all remember seeing that in my intro. I've got some good suggestions about, heating and steaming it with the towel to try to get some of that paper off, but they're so faded. These decals in one of the kits I got here, they're much more vibrant. Now, they were not easy to work with. They did not want to come off. You definitely had to make sure the water was pretty hot for them to come off. And then when I did, they were pretty solid, so they didn't want to lay down at all. The toughest part was obviously this is one piece stripe here leading into the one piece stripe going up there, and that's a curve right there. So it didn't want to lay down there. And then by the time I got them off the decal sheet, they didn't want to adhere. So I had to use a lot of setting solution to get it to lay down somewhat. They did finally lay down, not too bad, but as you could see, I don't know if you can see here without some of the glare, let me see if I can zoom in, they did start cracking the next day. So, it is what it is. And you can tell right there, the 3 is really dull, like it's almost a whitish color, I guess you'd say like a bone white, as opposed to just being a stark white. So that's about the best they were going to be. Like I said, I really like the kit. I still have my RC Cola decals, so I could build a couple more versions. I'm going to try to get delivery that maybe the one that BG's building, the L&M that was ran by the Penske team, get that one as opposed to trying to find some of these Martini. The IndyCal has, they have another set for this kit that is, I think it's the red one, that's like a Momo, I think it is. It's red and white accents, so I might do that one. But I like the kit itself. It's fairly detailed for this old of a kit. The undercarriage is not a lot. I'm not going to pick it up just because the wheels are actually just sitting on, and the mirrors, I just got those painted, and I haven't got them glued in yet. The only thing I haven't attached yet, and I will get to work on that tomorrow, is the little windscreen. It's really tiny. It's just like a little clear piece of plastic. It's almost like a rope. It's so thin to get it to conform, because when I dry fitted it, it didn't fit too well, so I may have to do some finagling on that, or just have it, just put a bead of the clear glue and just let it dry, and hopefully that'll hold it. I didn't detail the driver too much. He's 3 pieces, and I tried to get his arms to where they look like they were on the steering wheel, which that's very fiddly, those pieces. And you have to put that on, you have to mount the steering wheel and stuff before you fit the body to the undercarriage. So this is one piece, the bottom is one piece up to here, and then under here where the engine is, it's the tube frame that comes out. And then you build your suspension, the rear suspension off of that. Both me and Bryan both had fit issues with the rear lid connecting to that roll hoop. That roll hoop is a separate piece that joins to the undercarriage. So where that silver part is, that's the bottom. And then it mates into that. This is, you can glue in. This can come off, but in order to get the decals on and to see, because they did overlap, and then you have to put these 2 decals on and then split them with a razor blade along the seam line. This is so tight now that I finally got it to fit that it won't come off. And the problem is, because this suspension in the rear is so fiddly, that when you try to maneuver anything with these wheels, that's all you have, right? So it wants to move, and I was afraid if I start moving it too much that it was going to snap. As you can see, this is one piece that has to be glued on to this part. It's barely just barely nubbins kind of holding it together. So it's kind of hard to see, and there's not a lot of detail, but thank goodness I didn't do like wiring and stuff, because I don't know if you'd ever see it. I don't know if I'll ever see it again. If I ever get that lid off without really doing some damage. Everything, you know, this is so fiddly, trying to pull that off. I mean, the whole thing might come apart, who knows. But it was a fun build. I do like the kit. I think there's a few things I learned on building it that when I build the next one, I'll do a different sequence, do some different things as far as the build process. And then under here, under each side, there's some wiring and stuff. So that was detailed, but then, or actually it's back here, I guess. But until you take the rear lid off, you're not gonna see it. Now, there was a picture that shows this lid supposedly flipping back this way, which in the real car, it would flip up this way. And then I've got pictures online where you see like a brace, like a cross, an X-shaped brace to hold it up. So there's a possibility of doing that. So maybe with different decals where they don't have to, you know, they don't cut through. We might could do that on the next one, I don't know. The wheels are on. I used IndyCal decal stickers for the Goodyear. They didn't fit perfectly, so I had to wind up trimming just before the G and after the R, and just laid them on there. And right now, these are the decals with just a couple of thin coats of, I actually put a semi-gloss on here because I didn't want it to be like super shiny, but at the same time not be completely flat and dull. But again, you can see how on that Martini right there, that the inside of the circle is darker, a darker shade of white than the back. But overall, I like the kit. Again, now I've got 2 more that I can build, and you know, having one other set of decals is gonna be a big help. And then I'll just maybe I'll get another IndyCal set, because those seem like pretty good decals. So that's it. Again, enjoyed the group build. Looking forward to it next year. I've got a few more 30-second scale kits. Obviously, I got 2 there, but more in my stash as I continue to kind of move toward that. I like the scale. So again, thanks to Bryan, thanks to Shawn for hosting it again. Look forward to doing it next year, and look for me to I can maybe do some stash ads from the Atlanta Con show. I think by now most of you probably seen Bryan and Josh and Fred's videos about Atlanta Con, which was a good time. Did get some kits, and then I'll add those probably some. I haven't shown you my Acme stash or my Grail kit that I finally got a hold of. Anyway, so that's it. Gonna wrap it up. So my next videos will probably be intro videos for the March into Space group build, hosted by Matthew over at ESU Warrior Models, starting in March, and then also the Bandai group build hosted by the 2 Dans, Munchkin Model and Man 72, Daniel Son the Grasshopper, and then Papa Dan over at Hobby Time with Papa Dan. So I'll be doing those, followed by the Egg Plane group build in April. So that's it. There is my AMT Porsche 917-10 Can-Am Racer in the Martini livery. So as always, howdy toddy, and God bless.